Eagles Nation, we finally made it. There is Eagles football on tonight as Banner Night is here. The Philadelphia Eagles play host to the Dallas Cowboys in the season opener. In today's video, we are going to preview that matchup. This matchup is, in terms of talent on both rosters, I think it's fair to say lopsided in favor of the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, especially post Micah Parsons trade for the Dallas Cowboys. It felt like with that move, the Cowboys recognized that their Super Bowl window was not this year, and they were looking to reacquire some assets to go forward into the next maybe 2 to 4 years and try and retool this team this offseason and then look to compete in 2026. However, for the Philadelphia Eagles, obviously coming off of a Super Bowl and with one of the youngest teams in the NFL, they're ready to roll in this game tonight. Philly is favored by 8.5 points, so Vegas kind of agrees that this is a game where Philly should dominate. But I do have some concerns for the Philadelphia Eagles. I want to start there, and then we're going to finish up with kind of the plan of attack, the way that I think Philly could win this game. The concerns that I have are Philly traditionally isn't great against Dak. He has a winning record against the Philadelphia Eagles. He has been able to move the ball against our defense. And now the Dallas Cowboys add in George Pickens to that passing attack, whereas the Eagles, their weakness is the cornerback 2 position in terms of figuring out who will be the starter there. Is it Adoree Jackson? Is it a young Jacorian Bennett? You know, those are the 2 guys that I think it's most likely to be. Both have their, I think Adoree Jackson's a better tackler. I think he's a veteran player, whereas I think Jacorian Bennett's a better athlete and more likely to stay in line one-on-one, but also more susceptible to give up a big play. So highs and lows absolutely for both of those guys. We haven't seen either of them with the starting defenses in any of the preseason games. We saw them with a lot of second string, third string guys, which obviously doesn't completely help us figure out where they're at specifically. We'll see. That is a concern that I have. I do think it's possible that Dallas is able to keep up with Philly offensively from points to points because of the passing attack. I don't think Dallas's run game will be particularly strong this year or in this game with Jadon Blue, Miles Sanders, or Javonte Williams. The Cowboys' offensive line had some turnover this offseason. They obviously go from Zach Martin to Tyler Booker, so I just don't see that being the strength of their team. The passing attack, though, is something that Philly will obviously have to watch out for. And on the defensive side of the ball, Dallas is looking particularly healthy. Trayvon Diggs and Deron Bland, who just got extended, both out there. So A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith will be going toe-to-toe with the Cowboys' best corners. And they now add Kenny Clark on the defensive side of the ball. So listen, when I look at, how could we lose this game? Super Bowl hangover, start slow, let Dak and that passing attack get hot, and never really be able to fully keep pace. That would be the one path to victory for the Dallas Cowboys that I think there is. And due to the talent discrepancy, I do believe there's multiple paths to victory for Philly. I do think Philly could win this game in a shootout. I do think with, Dak and the weapons he has, like the Cowboys could put up some points, but I also think without Micah Parsons, without DeMarcus Lawrence, and without a lack of a real pass rush, Dallas is going to struggle to get to Jalen Hurts with the Eagles offensive line. I expect Hurts to have a clean pocket. And if you're able to have a clean pocket with weapons like A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley, Jahan Dotson, we saw it in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts is going to be able to pick you apart. And I could see Philly coming out and winning this game like 35-24 and really just riding on the back of their offense. I could also see Philly, as Dallas's defense last year was the worst against the run in football. I believe they gave up the #1 EPA per play to running backs, and they gave up a lot of rushing yards. Obviously, Jerry Jones recognized this, and he said that they haven't been able to stop the run for years. That's true. Philly has the #1 player in all of football, Saquon Barkley, who could absolutely just run laps around this Cowboys defense, at least last year. Now, they do add in Kenny Clark. He's obviously been in training camp with Green Bay. I don't think at the defensive tackle position, many of the plays look very different to you, so I would expect him to be a full go, and we'll see what he could do to their rush defense, but I still don't expect Dallas's defensive line to turn into monsters against the run overnight. It wasn't just Micah Parsons, but again, Philly could dominate this game through the air or through the ground. I think think either way, their offense is going to have their way with this Dallas Cowboys defense. It's just a matter of how much can the Eagles defense hold up against a good Dallas passing attack. I know we hate Dallas over here, but truth be told, Dak, CD, Pickens, Ferguson, Turpin, like, it's a decent passing attack out there. My prediction for this game is that Philly does mix their offense very well. Dallas doesn't have an answer for either side of passing attack or rushing attack because, simply put, I think in the trenches, Philly's offensive line is just too good for Dallas's defensive line, and then the weapons that are going to be able to take advantage of that. You let Saquon get to the second level, he's going to make big plays happen. You let Jalen Hurts have time in the pocket, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, those guys are going to get open. Philly should be able to move the ball fluidly. I don't think this is a team that's going to have a Super Bowl hangover. They seem to be very much bent on this year is this year, last year was last year mentality, coming into this year motivated more than ever to get back to the Super Bowl and win again, which I absolutely love. And it makes me think that this team is less likely to have a Super Bowl hangover. So I am going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles to win this week one matchup over the Dallas Cowboys. I do think that they do it by a score of 34-20. I think it's a little bit of a higher scoring game. I do think both teams at certain points are able to move the ball, but ultimately in the day, Philly is a more talented roster. Give me them by 2 scores in this football game. We'll be back up here tomorrow around this same time to give our reaction to the game. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. If you love the Eagles and Eagles football, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your guys' support. I'll catch you next time. Peace.